Hey everyone, just wanted to drop a note before we begin the episode. We all know that 2020 has been a pretty terrible year for a lot of people, and we just want to point out positivity before this episode turns into super negative but darkly funny. We do want to thank some people. So obviously the first out of this show, Danny and I would like to thank Thea for always being an amazing co-host with us, and we really appreciate every time she comes onto the show and just classes it up. She's very funny, she's very smart, she's very human, which is not a lot I can say about other people, but she's good. Congratulations to her and Hez for tying the knot and bringing a spark of positivity into this year. Danny wants to say thanks to his family, friends, and all the dogs of New York. I'd like to say thank you to my family, my father, my sister, everyone in relation, all the friends who reached out this year, especially my mother. I want to thank her for putting up with me. Also, we want to do a little shout out to people that have been supporting us, online. Renee Dune, Hug RPG, Fernando S. DeLuca, everybody else that's on the Facebook, Anders Goranson, Marcy Marie, Apostle Soren, Oscar Roberto Torres Tablio, Shannon LG, Stevie Evans, Bakil Kabedi, Ash Lay, Julie Lawson. That always is positive with us. We really appreciate the support you give us. We would do this show anyway because Danny and I are just nuts, and we just do it anyway, even though nobody really listens besides you guys. But we want to thank you anyway because you take the time out to listen to our show and support us and laugh at our very stupid humor. Much respect. Thank you so much. We just want to keep doing this show, and we hope to keep entertaining you people. Most likely we'll be back in February. We're going to be taking the month of January off like we do every year. And we just want to say thank you all for doing that. It's been an honor to do this show, and we appreciate everything that you've done for us. So enjoy the show. What's up, everybody? It's the HorrorDeconstruction. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, but mostly on YouTube. Give us a like, subscribe with your host, Comp, and
the ghost of 2020.
And today we're talking about
2020, and we're saying goodbye to it. Thankfully,
what a wonderful year. Nothing's happened in it substantially.
It's been very exciting. I've had a great year.
Me too. So wonderful this year.
Yeah.
So we're basically every end of year we do a recap of what we've talked about, air our anger at something, and then etc. Danny just broke it down to me in 3 blocks, and I instantly forgot about it.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about our films that we've covered, like a quick watch it, don't watch it. Then we're gonna talk about some upcoming ones, and then we're gonna talk about how horrible this year was.
Yeah, so let's start off with, why don't you start off with let me start off with the list, actually. The first movie we started out was with Us.
This is a good one.
Jordan Peele directed follow-up to Get Out. I thought it was really good. I thought it was, I don't think it was as good as Get Out.
But I don't think it was as good as Get Out either, thinking back to it.
And it had a really good, they used that song, Fleur de Lou, or whatever it's called, that
yeah,
springtime in the, that song. That's good. Very good ending sequence too.
I guess I'm already screwing it up, but a future movie that's coming up will be also directed by Jordan Peele is the Candyman sequel, which is coming in next year, and I'm really excited.
No, that's racist because it's Nia DaCosta, a black woman, who's directing it. He's just producing it. But of course, Danny, with his view, must think everybody,
I misread
even
it.
crosses genders. I didn't realize that we finally did Black Horror History Month last year, or this year.
Did we?
Last year.
Oh yeah, we
because
covered
everyone wanted
the
to do that for the longest time.
Didn't we cover that
really bad?
Yeah,
really bad black African American movies. They can make bad movies just like the white people.
It was the one by the guy that
Us
did
was a good,
Dark.
But Us was strong.
What the hell is it called? The Tales from the Dark... No, not Tales from the Dark Side.
We'll talk about that. Okay,
okay.
So then also we did Thriller. Remember that slasher movie?
Oh, that one was pretty bad from what I remember.
That was pretty bad. It was super bad. Also, the Sweet Blood of the Jesus. I actually enjoyed. I don't think you liked it that much, right?
Liking it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a weird because what is his name? Spike Lee is a very he does like art.
I think I've
house,
only
but
had like a bad
normal.
experience with him, but I haven't seen a lot of his films for sure. So.
Yeah, he does a lot of weird art house stuff in his sort of regular sort of directing films. The only one I think that I saw that was normal was Inside Man, but I think it was worth a watch, especially something, with black leads and stuff like that. It was an interesting film. Okay, so this leads us to Tales.
This is
Tales
actually maybe the worst film I've ever seen in my life. Tales from the Q Dead Zone.
Quad Dead. Tales from the Quad Dead Zone. You've got to see it.
Everybody should watch this on YouTube. It was free on YouTube.
It's a terrible movie.
It's a mind-bogglingly bad.
It's
I still
a
think
terrible
about
movie.
it sometimes. I still think about it.
The reason why I enjoyed it but it's I don't enjoy bad movies.
No. But I actually do. But this is so bad. It's like holy
it's
shit.
It's so bad. You've got to see it with people. You have to because it's so horrible. But it's funny in a way. But then also I remember that I tend to feel some sort of guilt whenever they interview the directors after, and the guy's a nice guy. And I was at least he tried,
Yeah.
Anyway. After that was Loose from 2018.
I feel like I had a mixed view, but it looked
beautiful.
It looked beautiful.
It wasn't a good movie, but it wasn't a horrible movie. It was actually it's a gorgeous movie. This movie gets a pass because of
real film and everything.
It was shot, I think, on 16mm film, so it looks like a movie from the fucking 1980s. It looks, it's absolutely gorgeous, but there's nothing going on in the movie. I think the movie's almost an hour long almost.
Yeah.
But Loose you can find on Shudder. We saw Bliss, which was the vampire film.
That was okay. That was the one with the artist
it was
that
okay.
does that drug or whatever, right?
Yeah, it also had a really interesting visual style. It looked like, when they say those exploitation movies from the 70s?
It's not my
it looked like that
at all, actually, to be honest.
Okay.
But,
I thought it looked good, but all the characters, I hated every single... I didn't like any character. And when they all died, I was grateful for it. There was only one character that I liked but they were all horrible characters, but it was an interesting film and it's worth watching. I'd say go for it.
You could do worse for sure.
We also covered In Fabric,
which that was the one with that haunted dress, and it was 3 stories.
Yes,
yeah,
and it was. I think it was 2 stories.
It.
It was 2 stories split in once. I think the first hour of the film really worked, but the second hour they fucked it up by trying to make it comedy. But it's the aesthetic of it is so good, it's worth watching it, but they really dropped the ball in the second half of the film.
Yeah.
For some reason, they changed the narrative and
okay.
it really... Yeah, it was okay. It's just that the first half is great, the second half is shit. And I had Brienne of Tarth, and I wouldn't have known unless I looked it up.
Who was she in?
I remember you guys were
remember.
She was the bitchy goth girlfriend of the woman's son in the beginning. The girl with the long black hair?
That was her? Okay, I didn't even
remember.
That
was her. I think they had her sitting in most of scenes or something, so she couldn't stand up and her head goes through the ceiling.
All right, Last Shift. That was the one with the cop that was in a institution.
So fucking it was okay. The beginning of it was okay.
I remember thinking
but
first it was scary. I was actually getting a little jump scares. And then shut up.
It was so corny.
No, I know, but when it got into the corny stuff, I stopped being scared. But at first, I felt like it did a really good job, and then it just took a plunge corny. Halfway through.
Because being alone in the haunted police station, I've never seen that. I thought that's interesting. But then when she gets stuck in that room and I think it was the confessional videos play. And it's what
it gets really teenage Marilyn Manson fan, and I say that as a teenage Marilyn Manson fan back at the time.
It's what a 15-year-old thinks is edgy and scary, some sort of Manson cult. It was so corny, and the ending was all right though. It had a nice twist ending. But it was
now for a good one, Ash vs. Evil Dead season 2 and 3. Which
it was a very...
The show is hit or miss a little bit, but I loved it. It was good.
I thought the first season was pretty strong. The second season I didn't like that much because
they had shit in the second season, but
and then also it had the worst.
What? No, you got.
The second season had the worst take on time travel I've ever seen in anything. It was you could tell because they changed the guy who ran the show.
Even worse than Heroes, though. Come on.
Well, listen. All I know is at the end of Ash season 2, they saved the day by destroying the book in the past, but somehow the present is still the same as if they hadn't destroyed the book.
Well, it's
people remember.
I don't know. Maybe it's
No. Listen, they destroyed the fucking Book of the Dead in the end of season 2 as if it never existed. Like Ash, it never left that cabin. Like Ash never opened it. But then at the end, people were like, "Yeah, Ash, you saved the day." So then, how would people know that Ash saved the day if the fucking book
whatever.
existed?
In
It
any
was
case,
horrible. But season 3 was great.
This is a show that, like, I'd say there's like 5 episodes that could be like my favorite things in like horror. Like, it's great.
But season 3 was fantastic, and I actually like got sad. You know, when Ash decided to leave his family in the car, which I thought was like weird.
Wait, you just
but it made sense. But it actually
you just spoiled it.
But I'm not saying what happens, but he decides to fight the monsters. Great. Anyway, okay, The Ninth Gate. Very good movie made by a pedophile rapist.
I was shocked because I used to think it was ridiculous as a kid. I didn't understand it when I grew up, maybe.
But Danny just wanted to support it because of the director. It was Roman Polanski. Famous pedophile rapist and director. But it was so funny watching The Ninth Gate because I was just like, because obviously, you know, it is a good movie. It's a good movie. You can't, like, it's like, fuck. Because, you know, when people say Woody.
Yeah, you got to separate yourself from the art and the artist.
Oh boy, I can't date this girl. That was an Italian accent.
It's very good.
Woody Allen when he does his movie.
It made me want
pasta. So it's like, why? It's very difficult because this guy is obviously he did some very freaky in the 70s.
Maybe we should just skip to the good and really bad ones.
Okay, Veronica. No,
that was terrible.
That's the worst movie. I thought that Tales from the Quadezza was better than this movie.
Is that the one? No. What's the one where they're falling down an elevator shaft?
We did that. I think that was previous year. That was something.
Kane Hodder's in it.
Yeah, it was called Death House. That was one. That's pretty bad. But Veronica is unbelievable bad. Like it's. I mean, for a budget that it has, it was directed by Glenn Danzig, and if you want to see good video of Glenn Danzig, there's a video of him trying to talk shit to another rock and roll guy at the back of some, I guess, concert, and the guy punches him and knocks him out cold.
Oh, shit.
And the guy says, "Northside Kings can't be defeated." It's great. Anyway, after that, we saw The Lighthouse.
Yeah.
Which, a very good movie, directed by Robert Eggers. His follow-up to The Witch. Stars, obviously, Willem Dafoe and Robert, I forgot the guy's name. Is it Rob something? Whatever.
Is To Your Last Death the one with Ray Weiss?
It is. That was
a good one too. We happen to be going in order right now because they're all really good or really bad.
Yeah, To Your Last Death was I would say it's partially animated because it looks like Flash animation, but the art is fantastic. It's like the most realistic comic book art I've ever seen. And not realistic, but you know what I mean. It looks the closest to like if you just pulled comic book characters and animated them, but that means the animation is limited. I thought the storyline would be a little bit something different, but I thought it was really worth watching. To Your Last Death. I thought it would be more like crazy, like because it just kind of became some weird slasher, but it was still good. Another one that came up after, Gretel and Hansel from 2019. I enjoyed
being very impressed with it.
I was surprisingly impressed by this film because obviously I thought they were like marketing it in a certain way, like, oh, you know, whatever. But it was, it's by a director, the son of... I remember you and
Fia liked it more than I did, for sure.
Yeah, it was by the son is the director. I forget, his father was the guy who played Norman Bates, but I can't think, Tony something, whatever.
Okay.
But Anthony Perkins' son, I forget this, Oz Perkins, that's the guy's name.
Okay.
I enjoyed it a lot. It's very art house, very beautiful looking film, very strange. I really enjoyed it, but that's like if you're a really art house nerd. But it's still it's really good, and people can appreciate it. Next up is The Lodge from 2019. I think all of us.
I remember kind of just thinking it was a little dumb.
Yeah, because a lot of people were saying, "Oh, this is great, And then I was watching.
People love
it.
It's
all right.
It's their favorite movie and shit. It's like, why?
It's It's essentially a film about gaslighting, and it kind of falls apart logically when you think about it. It had a great suicide scene.
It totally falls apart logically.
It had a fantastic. It had a fantastic suicide scene in the beginning of the film, which I didn't expect, and was really graphic and was really cool. But don't commit suicide, people. You got to listen to our show.
Yeah.
After that, we saw Possessor from 2020.
Possessor was awesome.
I enjoyed Possessor.
Brandon Cronenberg.
Yeah, Brandon Cronenberg, keeping his Cronenberg guts and gore alive. It was his follow-up to Antiviral.
Very much a sci-fi, and it was better than Antiviral. It's very much like a sci-fi horror. Okay. It's great.
Yeah, I liked it. I wanted to see more to it. For some reason, it didn't click with me 100%, but I thought it was really well done. Next up is we saw Hannibal Season 1.
It's all right.
Oh,
I looking back, I think back to all the Hannibal stuff, and I'm just like,
hot take. Fair enough. You should have went through.
I wasn't. At the time, I think I liked it, but like now, just looking back, it's like there are way
get
better
into.
films.
You know what? Get into season 2. I promise you will change
I think
your
I watched
thing on it.
I don't know.
Did you?
It's not really my thing.
Wow, what a hot take.
I'm sorry.
There's a bunch of Fannibals that come get you, but I thought it was a pretty fantastic show. I thought that's what they call them. I thought by the season 3 it was smelling its own farts and going, "Oh, fantastic! I'm a genius." It was kind of like that in season 3.
It's always doing that. Looking back.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a very frou-frou show, but I enjoyed it a lot. Season 2 is fantastic. Season 2 has one of the best finales of television of all time. Anyway, we move on to Blood Quantum, which was the Native Americans versus zombie
I
films.
remember thinking this movie had a lot more potential, but I was happy that they made a kind of commentary, even though it was very not subtle at all, about
Yeah, it was interesting. Right. It was an interesting film. I liked the thought of it, that like all these Native American characters who were in this land first, they're the ones that can survive. And then that's, I guess, sort of spoiling it, but it happens 15 minutes into the film.
Yeah.
But I was really impressed by that. But it just became sort of a normal zombie, which I guess is okay because they want to say, oh, normal. We can have a normal zombie movie using Native American leads. But it was just like, all right, it just kind of came stupid.
It was a very like. At first it was cool, and then all of a sudden it's like very predictable. I don't know. But
next up is
cool. Silence of the Lambs.
Next up is
the classic.
No, Revenge is her middle name. 2011.
Oh, I don't even remember I don't even remember.
That was the rape. That was the shot on video. I think it was rape.
Oh, that was
the
exploitation movie.
Yeah. That, like when they say exploitation, like this is like pure exploitation from 2011.
Exploitation movie. Holy shit!
It's a horrible movie. There's no question about it.
But I really remember.
Movie,
I remember like respecting the director and the actors.
Yeah, because he went the whole way. I mean, it was a terrible movie, but he went the whole way with it. Like they all went with the worst acting. I like the pimp. Remember the pimp? But he was like an evil rapist guy too.
Yeah.
But he was entertaining. But he was the only one that seemed to have like acting quality.
Yeah. Next up, it's worth watching if you wanted to see a really exploitation movie.
Yeah, it really is. Next up, we saw Silence of the Lambs from 1991. I enjoyed it. It was like a straight up cop movie. It was great. I understand why people kiss Anthony, whatever his name is, his ass
Hopkins.
as Hannibal. Yeah. Anthony Hopkins' ass. He was great in it.
He's only in it for like 10 minutes, but he's great.
But you know how, like, because obviously there's that discussion which Hannibal's better, the one from television. I think they're both great, honestly.
I think this one is.
But then I
don't know what I said in the review. Maybe at that time I was still in the Hannibal show mode.
Then the real snobs that watch Manhunter, which was the film from the 80s, think that Brian, I forget that actor's name. He's a very good actor. Played Hannibal really well, but I haven't seen that one. Next up, we saw 1BR, which is a nightmare about living in a gated community. I remember kind of
liking it, but thinking it was very
I thought it was okay. Yeah, it was very predictable. I wish they went a little bit further with what they did. At the end, obviously, it becomes the same thing as the... I'm not going to spoil that other movie, but it reminded me of The Invitation at the end.
Oh, yeah,
It was very similar. It was like almost down to the last visual was the same shit.
Yeah.
Mon Monsters from 2017.
This one I remember loving, but I'm like recalling... I'm having trouble recalling the main plot, but it was...
The main plot is about a couple of asshole teenagers that find a feral child monster.
Right.
While the other monster is hunting them down.
And they're like torturing it and shit. I remember that, yeah.
I forgot where the fucking movie is from. Is it from Thailand or it's an Asian film? It's visually it's very good. I thought for some reason a little bit could be better, but visually it's just so fucking good. Like the directors, it's
Taiwanese. You're right.
Taiwanese. Okay, sorry. So it's a very clean film. The way it looks, it's very it's very gory, but not disgusting. Yeah, I know. Very not very graphically gory, but still.
I remember really liking it.
Yeah, it's an excellent. Listen, if you watch a good foreign film, then might as well watch this one. It's good. They make good foreign films. We didn't watch enough of them this year, I think. Next up, we saw 1981, The Burning, which is
the one with George Costanza,
prototypical slasher. Right? Yes. Against type.
See him with hair.
He wasn't running out of the room first. And it has one of my favorite scenes in horror is when that kid sees the face through the window and he goes, "Oh my God!" God, that part. That's my favorite part. So and it changes tropes by having sort of the beautiful young virginal woman running away from a slasher, turning into a young Jewish man, virginal, running away from a slasher. And that movie was produced by the prolific Harvey Weinstein.
Oh,
so, so it's like, there should be
Event
more
Horizon.
rapes.
Event Horizon was our next one.
Event Horizon 1987, a fantastic little
Great movie.
underappreciated horror film. I wish they had more horror stuff in it actually, but I think it served its purpose. Has all very like the whole cast is really good. Fucking Lawrence Fishburne is great in it. Obviously, Lawrence Fishburne is pretty good in everything except for Predators. That was a good slasher movie, and that director just went to hell after that. Like after he started making those Mortal Kombat. No, Mortal Kombat was great. I forget his name. He directed this and then Mortal Kombat. And then after that, he started making Resident Evil movies, and you know what happened with those. Next up, we saw The Church, a movie that was...
I remember really liking this, and I remember you not liking it.
No, I thought it had a lot of potential because it just sort of became boring. These people get stuck in a church. It was supposed to be Demons 3, but they changed the script. It was produced by Dario Argento. It has his daughter in it, sexualized for some reason once again. Dario Argento just loves sexualizing his daughters in movies. But... It's I forget the director's name, but he did the Demons movies, and this was supposed to be part 3, but they changed it. But I thought it had an interesting premise, and it looked great, but I thought it kind of fell short. There's also Uncle Peckerhead, a movie where
this one we had very mixed feelings about.
You liked it, yeah. But you liked it more, I think.
I did like it, but your thing with it was that it got too into like.
I thought it was so unfunny.
Like.
No, I thought my problem with it is that I thought the humor was awful.
They do nail like touring culture though. They do.
Oh yeah, no, I'm absolutely sure about that. Yeah, because you've dealt with that before. So,
yeah,
but with that, I thought it was so like the comedy was that like ironic humor, which I can enjoy.
It was okay.
But it was just bad. Like that actually turned me off.
I would like to
from the
see
movie.
what the director does in the future. Like I would check it out.
Next up, we saw Spree from 2020, which I
think
really
this is my
enjoyed.
favorite of the year, actually.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see the rest of them, but yeah, no, I'm looking at it. I think that's well, no, because you saw another movie that we'll talk about later, but Spree was so fucking good.
I know,
like,
yeah.
It's definitely
top
the
best
3.
movie of this year.
Well, for 2020,
yeah,
that I saw. Yeah, it is. But then again, we didn't see many 2020 films this year. Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer, which makes you want to take a bath after you see it.
It's a great movie.
It's a fantastic movie. It's so dark and so depressing.
And
It's a super dark film. The only other movie I can compare it to that I've seen recently was this movie called The Golden Glove.
And this is what's his face's first role. He's huge now. The guy from Slithers and fucking Guardians of the Galaxy
and stuff like that.
Like whatever. I can't think of his name at the moment.
Yeah. So also we saw a very strange movie called Edge of the Axe from 1988.
Oh, is that the one that has like a 20-minute driving sequence with fun, upbeat music in the beginning?
Yeah. But if you listen to the lyrics, it's all
one.
ominous. It's a weird movie from the 80s, and it's like an old slasher. I would say the poster is better than the whole movie entirely.
I remember kind of liking it, but it's like...
No, I think you did. I think you said you liked it. It had a weird...
It's not a great movie, like...
It had a weird twist to it. I thought it was okay. I actually liked the soundtrack with that weird folk music. It had a good soundtrack. But it's still strange. It's still worth watching. They released a version on Arrow Video, so Edge of the Axe from 1988. You should check it out anyway. Maniac Cop.
That's just a documentary about 2020.
So it's so funny because you watch it and they have a part where the people on the news are complaining about cops just getting to kill anybody, and it's just like, wow, nothing changed. Like it's
been
just
going
like
on
you
since
could turn on the TV
reformed.
same thing. But it's just I thought it was okay. It was sort of a weird slasher movie that didn't make any fucking sense. Apparently, part 2 is probably
you get to see Bruce Campbell
superior
in it, which
one.
is cool.
Right. So next up, we saw Color Out of Space from 2019. This was a movie that
Spectre Vision.
Yeah, this movie was came up after the phenomenon that was Mandy. I thought Mandy was okay, but people like jumping in the streets about it.
Mandy
I gotta rewatch
was
that
pretty
movie.
cool, but I do believe it was a little overhyped.
Yeah, and this got overhyped as well because it's also Nicolas Cage going nuts, but he didn't really go crazy. You could tell he was obviously doing an impersonation. You know, when people's impersonations of the president, that's what he sounded in this.
Yeah,
because he sounded like he was doing that same voice, and it was very strange.
He's a
but I
weirdo.
thought it was okay. Visually, it's great. It's funny because he has a show coming up on Netflix called The History of Curse Words, where he
cool.
just talks about. It looked funny actually, but Color of Space I thought it was okay. I don't understand why people
I think
were
it was
fucking
pretty
going crazy
good.
over it.
It was not the best, but it's worth watching.
Apparently the color out of space is purple, and if you see purple, you're gonna go nuts.
Pink purple.
After that, we saw Housewife from 2017. I completely forgot about that movie.
This one was a bit dumb, I remember.
It was funny because I had wanted to pick it out a long time before, and then you randomly picked it because I think you saw it on Shudder, right?
Yeah.
And then we both saw it, and it was like, this is stupid. Like
the cover of it is the best thing about it.
It's great. Absolutely, but it's a stupid dream movie, and it's just like... I don't mean to take away from whoever made it, but it's just not that good. We also saw Eyes Without a Face from 1960.
This is great.
Which I thought was it was a neat little movie from the 1960s.
I felt very cultured watching it. It was good.
I guess it is a horror film, but it's like, you know how horror in the 60s was, like, it was different. It was like Psycho was horror, but that was more like a detective movie or some shit like that.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting film. It's worth watching for, just for history's sake. Ready or Not from 2020. Okay, so that's another 2020 film. It was good. What it was, I think, was a funnier, like if Your Next had a bigger budget and had comedy writers on it.
Yeah.
Because people still say, people say that. I remember seeing something where people said that Your Next was funny, and I was like, that was nothing funny about that movie. Like, it was just like people going insane. But Ready or Not, I think, was funny. The main lead, I forget her name.
She's what's his face's Arrowin, the Elf King from Lord of the Rings. It's his.
Yeah.
And he's also Agent Smith, I believe, right?
Yeah, that's his niece.
Yeah, it's like his niece or his daughter or something. Yeah.
And it's funny because then you look at her and you can see his face for some reason, even though she's very pretty.
It's a good movie.
Great.
It's a good movie.
She also looks exactly like the girl who plays Harley Quinn. The girl in those Harley Quinn movies. She looks exactly like her, and they're both from the same area. So anyway, after that we saw Little Necro Red from 2019.
This movie has the best gore I've ever seen.
It is.
Maybe
it is gory, and it is disgusting, and it's like seamless gore, like, because it's obviously done with computer effects. No, it's okay. So let me explain. So it's all practical, but when they seamlessly add the practical gore effects to, I guess, regular stuff, like the transitionary work is. I've never seen any transition work better than this with the gore stuff. It's just incredible gore work. I haven't seen gore work this good since their first movie that we reviewed.
But the story is the story is just gibberish. But the
story is
worth
dumb,
watching. Yeah. It is worth watching just for
gore.
Like how technically good they are.
The company is called Necro something or Necro Storm. So if you want to see just gore movies, that they do the best ones essentially that are coming out now. So we saw also The Nightmare Before Christmas in 2003 because Danny for some reason picked Nightmare Before Christmas because it's a horror movie because people are frightened by
I just wanted to do. It's like such a classic. Wait, why did I put 2003? Oh yeah.
Because it was wrong. I was stupid. And I just left it on. It was 1993.
Oh, okay.
Maybe we reviewed in 2000. I fucked that up, and I'll change that graphic. We saw after that Sleep Tight from 2011.
Well, wait, Nightmare Before Christmas. Movie. If you haven't seen it, watch it.
Oh, okay. Go
on. Sleep Tight.
Obviously, people who listen have seen that.
Not everybody's seen every classic movie. I mean, watch it. If
I bet
you
60% of our listeners have seen this movie at least, or they're goth.
Well,
kids
the other 40% need to see it now.
Yes, you should see it. Sleep Tight from 2011, which is the guy who directed Wreck. This is an excellent sort of sociopath film, really well done. Just really a tension-filled movie, and you're just like, oh, like what a hateable lead character.
Yeah, he's like a fucking monster. It's great.
Really worth watching. So watch that Sleep Tight from 2011. Very good. We don't want to say anything more about it other than it's a freak that lives inside of like a housing complex, or like a high-end housing complex. We saw 2013's The Burning Buddha Man.
Yeah, this one was
movie I had wanted to...
visually awesome.
It is, yeah.
But
He still can't get it though. I'm wrong that this director. Here's the thing, like even if like he directed, I've been wanting to see this since 2013 or 2000, yeah. But I'm cheap and I don't want to spend $9 on, but eventually I had to. But it's like he did The Violence Voyager, which we were also sort of like, oh, it was a beautiful movie, but just the writing is just so bad.
Yeah.
Burning Buddha Man is, it's a absurd. It's like it's
like,
very like if you.
It feels like what's the anime where he's the ghost hunter and then he finds out he's
Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yeah, it's like Yu Yu Hakusho mixed with like Ultraman or something. Like it's so bizarre.
Yeah, it's a very weird movie because it becomes Power Rangers for some reason. But
yeah,
it's
right,
all
Power
done
Rangers,
in this thing
exactly.
called. It's done in Gekimation, which is this guy who he takes drawings and animates it with his hands. So he's just like puppeteering with paper.
It's like crazy.
And everything looks great. It's the ugliest fucking characters you'll ever see in a movie. Like, they're just so hideous and strange looking.
Yeah,
and it's like disturbing. It's like disturbing to look at. But I say it's worth watching, but the writing is not that good. Like it's really bad.
Now it's Darkness, but the same guy did Sleep
it's worth
Tight, which is not so
yes.
good.
No. This is like, you can tell like this was an American producers going, no, do this, and the director, hey, yo want to make a movie about go, bro. Hey, why did you tell me to do this? I can do that voice, but it was bad. It's just a bad movie. It's stupid. I didn't like it. I think he did Sleep Tight after this movie, so obviously he learned to not work with American producers anymore because they'll just take a big shit on your movie. And so Darkness 2002 fucking sucked. It was bad. After that, we saw Downrange by Ryuhei Kitamura, who the only other movie we did the two movies that we've seen of his were what is that movie? No One Survives or No One Lives, the slasher movie.
Yeah, that was stupid,
and then we saw Midnight Meat Train, which is a lot better than. It's much better than its title. But Downrange it's this sort of
it's like a mix of like good gore, sort of bad acting, and like a predictable story.
Sort of. Yeah, it's not that good, but visually it's great, but it's not that good. Next up we saw Siren 2016, which was a spin-off of the short film I think it was called Amateur Night from VHS, which is I thought I didn't think it worked. I thought like I just didn't think it worked. It had an interesting. The only thing that worked for me was the main bad guy in the film, which was this weird sort of
the magic guy. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, like he's great. Like they had great ideas in it about stealing people's thoughts and serving them as drinks for some reason.
Well, that way you could get their memories.
The Siren, surprisingly, the Siren is underused because at least in VHS she was the focus of as the bad guy chasing the guy. But then I guess.
This is like a movie that I would say, watch it if you're bored, but it's not like mind-blowing.
Yeah, they try to make her sympathetic in this, but I really didn't give a fuck because for some reason I just didn't give a shit about her character.
Yeah.
I was more interested in the psycho supernatural pimp. He was more interesting, compelling character. Everybody else kind of sucked in the movie. Yeah. So it was like a whatever. It's a whatever movie. It's a who gives a shit movie.
I would be curious, but he made it also with no budget. I'd be very curious to see what.
No, they did really well, but you can see, yeah, absolutely. No, the guy definitely has skills as a director. It's just that the movie itself, they didn't have the budget to rightfully do what he did. Whatever, no, but he didn't direct the one from VHS, so I could be wrong. But anyway, Daniel Isn't Real is the next one. It was 2019. I didn't give a shit about this movie.
Didn't.
Yeah. No, I thought that they didn't. The Daniel is the made-up character played by Patrick Schwarzenegger, and he was just so like. Thank you. He was so like bland as a villain. Yeah. Like he was just like. It's like if you just go to fucking. If you and I went to Soho and we ran into one of these guys. Mm-hmm. And then we just made a movie about that guy. And he goes, oh, man, this club's great. Oh, man, you got to fuck girls. That's what you got to do. And that's all it is. I'm like, all right. The only good thing about this movie to me was the body horror scene. If it focused more on that when it was coming out of his mouth and stuff.
But I think for what it was nice.
Yeah. Next up, we saw The Invisible Man from 2020, which was an update on the, obviously, Universal horror character.
I don't remember the scene I liked it a lot. She's in the screenshot, actually.
Yeah, it was. It's she's a good actor, but it's
Yeah.
just funny. But it's an excellent movie. It's an excellent update. It's a movie where you can't really make a sequel to it because you already know what
Although
the
they might make
quote
a sequel,
unquote.
they're discussing it.
Oh, I'm sure of it. It made enough money, but it's one of those sequel. It's one of those movies where the quote unquote reveal of how the supernatural shit happens sort of makes it realistic, and you're like, oh, so it's just somebody doing this for that. It's not a sequel sort of ready type of movie or something like that, but they'll do it anyway. But I enjoyed it a lot.
It's definitely worth watching.
The main actor is fantastic, so I thought it was great. Also, so next up, we saw the last one we covered for the year was The House That Jack Built from 2018.
God, I love this movie.
Why do you like this movie?
I keep thinking about it. Like seriously, I think about it like once every 2 or 3 days. Like
it's a great film. I saw it in theaters when they had a director's cut showing.
Yeah.
And if we wanted, I wanted Thea to see it, but of course
I'm trying to convince people I know to watch it, like so I could talk to them about it.
It is essentially like if you're watching a director's brain on screen. It's like it's very art house. It is a very art house film because it's not sort of natural storytelling to it. But it's such an interesting and very original way that the film is done, and that's very much how Lars von Trier does this film. Another guy that people have problems with because it's stupid shit he says to be provocative. But it's a really well-made film, and it's just all around. Like it's just an excellent movie.
But like whatever, I don't
care. Yeah,
that's
what they say too.
I
but
care
whatever,
about art.
right? Is that what you say?
Shut up.
Is that what you say? Whatever.
I'm saying I can't. I'm separating the art from the artist. Is what I'm doing.
But do you know Hitler was a good painter? Is that you want to say anything good about him too? But but yeah, no, it's such a good fucking movie. It's so good. Please watch it. So I guess the movies from 2020 that we saw, just to give it was Invisible Man, Spree, correct?
Are those the only ones we did?
I don't know. There had to be one more
Uncle
from
Peckerhead,
2020, right? Yeah. I guess that's it. Yeah. So.
Yeah. No.
So
Possessor,
I would honestly
Possessor.
say, okay, Possessor. So I would rank those movies. I think my favorites would be Spree #1.
Possessor.
What was the one that you just said?
Possessor or Invisible Man.
Spree, Possessor, and Invisible. No, Spree. Possessor just because of because I was sort of lukewarm on it, but Spree, Possessor, and
Invisible Man
are my for 2020 films. Listen, we didn't watch a lot of 2020 films, so I'm sure there's people going, but what about Uncle Buttfuck or whatever other movie they have? I'm not.
There's another Uncle Peckerhead called Uncle Buttfuck.
Uncle Peckerhead is not in my top 5 of anything. So, but those 3 are my top. How would you range those 3 out of the 2020 films?
I agree with you.
Okay, so that's it for the films that we've seen in 2020. We're gonna make sure that we watch more current film next year.
So wait, a quick thing. I'm looking at an article. Upcoming movies 2021. Candyman.
Yeah, let's do that. Sure.
Which could be cool.
Nia DaCosta, which Danny racially picked the same director.
It's a sequel
it's a woman
to the original
of color
Candyman. They cut out all the other ones.
Yeah, apparently, and I was looking at how they hook it up together, and it's an interesting idea. So I'm actually gonna watch that movie again, just because it was a very great mood to it, and Tony Todd is so fucking good as that character. And
I think I heard Tony Todd might even be coming back. Yeah. Yeah, no, it is.
I'm sure he is.
It says it in the thing. Yeah.
Honestly, from what I've been thinking, I haven't read spoilers because I haven't read real anything about it. But like just what people have been piecing together is interesting about it. But I don't want to say it because then I'm sure you're gonna watch it and be like, you're gonna be like, oh, what's this?
I don't care. I want to just wait for it to come out. Next we have A Quiet Place Part 2, which is like whatever. It's a whatever,
I don't really give a shit about that.
Saw. What the fuck?
Yeah, Spiral. That's the one with. They're making that like an African American movie now. It has Chris Rock, and it also has what's his name, Samuel L. Jackson. I'll give it a watch. Listen,
I didn't.
I've seen all those.
I heard it was terrible.
Yeah.
Look, I've watched all of them.
It was bad, but it wasn't. Yeah, no, I've seen all Saw movies. The only Saw movie worth talking about is the first one. That's it. The rest of them.
I remember
just,
thinking a couple of them were okay. Like it's just
Saw 4 I think I liked a lot, but Saw 1 and 4 are the only ones that I
think the
was
sixth
Saw
one
4
might have
the
been the
worst?
worst one.
No, it was 6. No, was it 5th?
It
Might be
doesn't
Saw
matter.
5.
Who gives a shit?
But they're all pretty fucking terrible movies.
Another Conjuring movie's coming out.
Yeah, that's the third one, but apparently that one is about like a real case where this guy I don't know if it's spoiling, but a real case about this guy who complained about his werewolf or his lycanthropy made him kill people.
Okay.
So it's not ghosts, but it's a lycanthropy. But I'm sure they'll have a werewolf jump out the guy's asshole or something in the movie to scare people. And but I mean, I'm not really into those films, the Conjuring films. So they got Morbius coming out, which is a
I think we're
Spider-Man
looking at the same
villain
article by Looper.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm not something called Where's the Jump. But Morbius is starring that guy who's fucking almost like 50 he's 50 years old. You know
Jared
that
Leto.
handsome actor? Yeah, the guy's fucking, he's got a band, he's got a cult. Fucking guy. The guy like was given everything. He won an Oscar. Anyway, whatever. It's like a Spider-Man. I remember because he's like a vampire. He's like a doctor who's very sick and then becomes a vampire and he has to suck blood. But when they used to have the Spider-Man the cartoon show, when his character came out, instead of him biting people's necks and saying blood because they have to change it for kids, he's like, I need plasma, and then he had suckers on his hands that would suck plasma. Because people were stupid. Antlers, which was produced by Guillermo del Toro, and I'm telling you, this shit came out. That's been like,
Antlers?
yeah, it's like a horror movie about this kid who lives with his sick father or some sick parent that they're like being taken over by a monster or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is like that there's been a bootleg of that movie since like last year, and I guess it's just being released or something like that. But I don't know. I'm not really interested in it, but people say it's good. I'm not sure. Last night in
I was gonna say there's
Last
Don't
Night in So-
Breathe 2, which is like
yeah, I thought the first one was all right. Like once they see, the thing is they never try to make it fucking because in the Don't Breathe was, I think, partially based on a real case where this guy was sick and tired of these teenagers breaking into his house and stealing shit. But this guy went nuts, so he stayed in his house and he moved his car out to make it look like he left his house. And he essentially baited these two teens. Well, they broke into his fucking house, and he blew them away, and he recorded the audio of it. And if he didn't record that audio of him killing them, shooting them like animals, he probably would be walking free because he'd be like, listen, they broke into my house. I don't know if they had guns or some shit like that.
Right.
But his dumbass recorded the audio. Listen, if somebody's breaking into your house and you don't know what's going on, you kill them, whatever.
he like
but
wanted
this guy,
to kill them. He was probably happy they came.
he did it. He could have called the cops and say, listen, come over here. And the cops probably
It's
would have
like
killed
every
them in their own
conservative,
cars.
like when
But anyway.
you start pushing them on why they're so obsessed with guns, they like get all like, you could tell they're getting a boner about the idea of somebody breaking into their house and shooting them. Although I'm actually not totally anti-gun, to be honest, but you know.
No, absolutely not. But the thing is with this movie, they had to make the main guy. They were like, oh, these people are breaking into this guy's house. How can we make him an asshole? Oh, let's make him a rapist. Let's make him forcing his semen into a woman. And we're like, oh, okay. So that way, now the audience can side with the main characters. And it's just like, get the fuck out of here. Just make him a regular guy.
This is a
trying to
bold
defend his
claim
house.
from this website here. Run, Sweetheart, Run is poised to be one of the best horror films of 2021. Which,
Well, who's making it? What's it about?
based on a terrifying real-life encounter that began with a sexual blah blah blah. It's hold on, Euron Greyjoy actor Pilloy. Okay, so the guy from Game of Thrones and blah blah blah. What the hell? Who made it?
What is the movie about?
It's about a person who was sexually assaulted and then ran away, and I don't know. It's very vague.
Fascinating. That's
But
a
it's by
fantastic
it's
sounding
inspired by Jordan Peele's Get Out and some guy with the last or woman with the last name Feste. I'm not sure.
movie.
Shauna Feste.
Don't tell me this is like a white woman's take on Get Out or something like that, where it's like,
I
oh,
don't know.
women are, you know.
I don't know.
Already, I'm like, just leave
Shauna-
Let Out alone.
Shauna
Get Out
Feste.
alone.
Yeah, it is. It looks like. No, but it's about it's about misogyny and stuff. But
Okay, fair enough.
yeah.
Last Night in Soho, which is directed by Edgar Wright. It's a psychological horror movie, so I'm sure it'll be good. It has Anya Taylor-Joy, you know, the girl from the witch and stuff like that.
Oh, cool.
She's being everywhere. She's in that The Queen's Gambit, which everybody loved on Netflix. I have to watch that, but I'm not really don't give a fuck about chess, but I'll give it a watch. They're bringing back a movie that we've never talked about, and I don't think we ever will or haven't. It's called Wrong Turn: The Foundation. They're remaking those movies. They made like 4 of those movies or something.
Okay.
It's about hillbillies killing people. Okay, what's up? What do you have?
There's another Purge. I've never even seen any of them. I hear they're good.
Oh, okay. I've seen all the Purge. I've actually seen the first season of the Purge. I gotta watch the second.
There's going to be that new Halloween one coming out,
movies.
which is cool.
Oh, here's the funny. Why did you like? You did. I thought that movie was.
I thought it was okay. It was okay. It wasn't terrible.
My friend hates that movie so much.
I'm not talking about the Rob Zombie ones. I'm talking about the one.
No, I know. I'm talking about the one that just came out. I thought it was kind of dumb, but my friend hated it with a passion that I couldn't believe. Because then it also had what's his name, John Carpenter, who did the soundtrack, and he was like, "This movie will scare the shit out of you," and that's because he was like getting hundreds of thousands of dollars to say that.
BJ
it's funny.
Novak is who's Ryan from The Office is making a movie for Bloom. I'm on a Blumhouse page right now.
So Halloween the sequel, and then it's funny because that director, because my friend hates those fucking movies and he hates David Gordon Green because he made it for some reason. He's also getting to make a sequel to The Exorcist, and I'm waiting for my friend's head to explode.
We'll see.
Also coming out is Godzilla versus Kong. I have not watched any of those Godzilla. The only Godzilla remake I saw was from...
qualify as horror? I don't understand.
I don't, because it's a giant monkey and a lizard destroying the world or something.
But that's not a horror. It's not horror.
But the last Godzilla movie, like that shit, they obviously make some sort of money.
I'm
but
not shitting on Godzilla. Godzilla's cool, but it's not horror.
Yeah, I know. You know what people are. They'll think like a guy losing his wallet is a horror movie or some stupid shit like that.
That is a horror.
It is actually The Crooked Man, which is another spinoff from the Conjuring movies.
Okay.
So
I'm tired.
I don't care about that.
They're all very formulaic to me.
And it's funny because the couple that did that were the biggest bullshit artists.
Is
in
Ari
history,
Aster making anything? I believe he is actually.
He's making a 4-hour nightmare comedy, but I don't think it's a horror movie. He's gonna go do his weird stuff now, and then probably go back to horror like in 2 years or something.
I love his movies.
Ghostbusters Afterlife. The director's pretty good, Jason Reitman.
Wait, is this gonna be with Bill Murray and shit?
Yeah, because Bill Murray's a twat that didn't want to do the original Ghostbusters 3.
Talk about Bill Murray.
He didn't want he didn't want to do the original Ghostbusters 3. He was like, no. So then you know what they did? They did that Ghostbusters with the I didn't give a shit that it was
I never saw it, but I heard it was terrible.
It's the worst of Saturday Night Live humor. Like that sort of I'm too smart for the room, but it's not smart. Like if it was female characters, good. If they're funny, they had funny females in the roles, but when I saw it, I was like, the writing was like Saturday Night Live, like just the worst type of fucking comedy you can imagine. Just like this smart elite people think their shit is funny. It's not funny. Five Nights at Freddy's is this movie. I don't fucking believe this shit's gonna come out. I don't, because Five Nights at Freddy's is a movie about, it's a video game, a humongous video game online where people you stay in a room and you monitor. You're working at a Chuck E. Cheese's. It's like broken down.
Right.
It's like called Five Nights at Freddy's. They couldn't call it Chuck E. Cheese. And you are watching these animatronics. You know how they animatronics in Chuck E. Cheese and all that shit, the band that plays? Mm-hmm. So this band,
I used to love those.
These animatronics are all fucked up and like they just look destroyed bears and birds or whatever the fuck they are, and foxes. And you have to monitor every room, because if you don't, they'll come up and kill you. And that's what it's about. But it's funny enough is that this they've been trying to make this movie since the fucking game came out, which is like almost like 9 or 8 years or something like that. I might be wrong. But then there's already a Nicolas Cage movie coming out, which is the same fucking thing, where they're releasing that movie with Nicolas Cage before they do with this one. I don't understand why it takes so fucking long to do it.
Can we end on a Stephen King note?
Are you ready to end? Because there's hundreds of movies.
No. I have two things I was going to say. I heard that The Stand.
Sure.
I heard The Stand is good. The new TV series. I haven't seen it yet, but I heard it was good. And
okay,
also,
I heard the opposite.
Oh well, I mean, I've read the book like 10 times, so I don't know. And
okay,
I don't know if I'm gonna like it because of that. And then Blumhouse is doing Firestarter.
Right, I just read that. Faith Akin. I forgot who the lead seems to be a guy though. I think it's what's his name?
Maybe that's
Zac
the dad.
Efron. Oh, okay, because I think it's supposed to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
Zac
he's the
Efron. I'm
father.
not
It
sure.
says it in the
Isn't it?
article. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, like he's a pretty good actor. He's been just in some shitty movies,
Zac
or he
Efron
just
was
none
just
of
in
his
that
movies
Ted
make any
Bundy
money.
one. Am I right? Or like?
Right, people are going crazy about it, but apparently it's a Ted Bundy movie where he doesn't. No, you don't see
No,
anybody
that
get
is a
killed and
good
shit like
movie.
that.
I just watched it. Like it is.
Oh, did you watch
It's
it?
not a
Okay.
horror movie, but it's a really good movie.
Okay, yeah. It's just for some reason his movies don't connect to people for some reason. Okay, so did you see any non-horror movies that you want to point out this year?
I did, but like this year is like the longest fucking year in the world. Like
It is.
I can't.
A
So
couple
many
of
things have happened. Like it's insane.
A couple of things I'd like to point out is A Knife and Skin, which is a movie I've been telling you to watch
Yeah, you have
for
been
the
telling me.
longest time because it's very much like a weird Lynch film. It's very much like a Twin
You know
Peaks
what I
movie. It's
watched?
like,
You know what I watched this year? Oh, you keep talking about Knife and Skin. Sorry.
no, go ahead. No, no,
I
I'm
saw
done with that.
Wall-E.
Just watch that movie.
I saw Wall-E, Coco, and Up.
Oh, that's right, because you got the Disney Plus thing. You
Well,
enjoying those?
I was dating someone who. This is in January. I was
Oh,
dating
okay. This is
somebody. I
before
can't
that then,
believe
okay.
that I. This is the longest time ago, but yeah, in January before the plague.
Danny got to live it. I'm not gonna say what Danny's kink was, but he finally got to live his kink, and there's nothing else to
Stop it.
do anymore in this.
But we watched.
Let's get sensitive. About
We
it.
watched these movies, and it was great. They're all good. I think Wall-E is actually like one of my favorite movies. It was so good.
Yeah, no, it was fun. I liked it. It was like it's true. That's just gonna happen.
I also watched Toy Story 2.
Okay, yeah, I've never seen Toy Story. I've seen Toy Story 1 and I liked it, but I didn't see the rest of them.
Yeah.
I did see the ending of the latest Toy Story, which is like a definitive ending. I was like, "Jeez, Louise!" I'm sure they'll make more.
Did,
But
like
it
melt
was like,
them down or something.
I think they
terrible?
were just trying to. I think they were just trying to find a way to get rid of Tim the Toolman Taylor because he's like a super conservative guy now.
Oh, okay.
Just trying to get rid of him for some reason. But yeah, that so Knife and Skin was really good. I forget what else I fucking watched, but I saw a couple. Oh, like the Golden Glove was really good. Like that's a gross fucking movie, but it's not like
Okay.
it's like a real story about a slasher. But the only movie I can compare it to is Henry: Portrait of a Serial Killer, and it's on Shudder, so it's worth a watch.
Right.
I saw a couple of movies on Shudder. Bag Boy Lover Boy was very good. It's about this like this
I've
European
never heard
dude
of
who.
that.
It's about it was on Shudder. They got rid of it. It was it's like a New York City set slasher film. It's very funny but very dark. It's about this guy who's like who's tricked into being exploited as an ugly guy in fashion shoots, and he
Okay.
just starts becoming a serial killer. It's very funny, but it's a very good movie. There is for some reason necrophilic rape in it, so that came out of nowhere in that movie, and I was like, "Whoops!" I was like, "I can't show this to."
I'm
Thea."
watching season 2 of Mandalorian right now. I'm not done, so don't say anything. But
Excellent. Yeah, I think that's the only
it's
reason
good.
to keep. Like the only reason, because I know you said, "Oh, here's Disney Plus," and I was like trying to look through, and I was like, not really that
well, I
much into
signed up
Disney
for
movies.
it just to watch season 2.
But the
and
thing is,
then-
I think you
yeah.
will. I think you will stick to it because there's like 50 more Disney shows that are going to come out, and they actually.
Yeah, but
I
don't
was never
care
really
that
into.
much. I just want to watch.
No, I meant Star Wars. The Star Wars and the Marvel shows that are going to come out for
I'll
it are
probably
gonna be
watch
probably
a
worth
couple
it.
of the movies over, and then I'll deactivate the account. I don't want to give Disney money, you know. Like,
there's also I actually want to check out Soul, but it might hit a
yeah, I
little
heard
bit too
that. I
close
heard
to
that
home
was
right now.
good.
Yeah, it might hit too close to home for right now, but I want to check that out.
Oh, okay.
But the Mandalorian's fucking good. Mandalorian is what I wanted all this time from Star Wars movies,
Yeah, it's
but I
the
never
most
sort
Star
of like.
Wars there is. Like, it really is.
Well, apparently, according to George Lucas, who did the prequels, that's Star Wars. So I don't know.
Nah,
what you're
those
thinking.
prequels have nothing to do.
This
with
is what
the
we wanted from
feeling
Star
of
Wars.
Star Wars.
But that was great. So okay, let's talk about this. So there's plenty of movies I forgot that I saw this year. But what are you what's up with this year with you? How you been?
Oh God, like.
Politically,
I mean,
this year had maybe two things with that were. It's almost like if you jumped headfirst into a pile of human shit and you found a quarter inside of it, and that was like maybe a vaccine.
I gotta say, I'm
and
doing,
then also
I'm doing
politically.
better than a lot of people, but
Okay.
following the politics and what's happening with like Black Lives Matter and the horrible police and like our government isn't doing anything for us, and all this shit that's going on right now, like.
Danny's a filthy lefty.
The
Is that what you
election
are?
that's happening, like these are our choices. Like I am
Danny and I,
in a rage.
the two of us definitely agree that both sides are here to fuck us, Dems and Repubs. One side more than the other, obviously, but yeah, it's been a year of just having to hear political
like
bullshit
with the
for
political
the last.
shit. I've been basically in a non-stop rage and upset
Yeah,
for
it's
like
just
everybody I know. I know people who are about to be homeless and shit. Like it's insane.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
luckily I'm okay, and I moved to Spain in the middle of all of this, so my life is very different from what's happening to a lot of people.
Danny has been painting his skin brown. He's been eating fried bananas. It's incredible. But yeah, this year's been a real big shit show. I lost somebody very.
Like,
It was so funny. I was gonna say I lost somebody close to me, and then he's like, I lost my job.
yeah, no, I wasn't. I'm not trying to step on your stuff.
I know, it was just funny. Yeah, so I had like a colossal loss this year for me, as in like somebody that I loved very much who passed away, and yeah, it's just like eye opening, and it's funny because I was talking to somebody who went through something similar with one of their family members, and they're like, it hasn't hit you yet, but it will, because it sort of feels numbing right now,
yeah.
and it's good that we're sort of taking this time off, but I'm not. It's like when you see somebody suffering for such a long time, and then when they pass away, you're like, oh, you're grateful, but then it's gonna hit you. So I'm dreading that day. But I think this year, 2020, that was a capper.
It comes in little bits. You'll
yeah.
be in little bits.
You too, yeah, right,
like
absolutely.
You'll feel it. Trust me.
So it's been a capper for 2020, as in, oh, okay. Like I thought she would have survived beyond this, so just sort of like relief, but no, they didn't, because 2020 took another person. So that's just how this year has
Hopefully
been.
It's a clean start for the next year.
Well, at least 6 more months, because remember now we have the super plague
It's
that
just
has
a more
reached
contagious
America.
version. It still reacts with the vaccine, assuming the vaccine even works. Because honestly, I don't know. Oh God.
Yeah. So I mean, who knows? Honestly, who knows what is going on with this fucking world? We had to be born during this time. I know it sounds selfish, like we had to be during this time.
Me and you have seen 4 massive economic crashes, which proves how well capitalism works, right, everybody? And
it's
now this is happening. It's insane.
It's an insane. It's funny because it's been building up for 4 years. You know what I mean? This is like
It's been building up.
The thing is, it's been up forever. Right. I mean politically, but also it has been building up for like almost 12 years
forever.
Almost. Oh yeah, it's been building up for 12
Malcolm
years.
X
honestly,
was talking about lesser evil shit. Like that's how long.
Well, yeah, I mean, all people do is repeat shit. Like,
it's never gonna end, man.
It's never gonna end. It's as long as you live here.
Honestly, I don't mean to be depressing, but I've given up any hope of anything changing. Just yesterday, Bernie Sanders was like on the floor trying to stall and make sure Senate would vote on a $2,000 relief, and every Democrat except for 6 Democrats voted to just let's not do that. Let's instead vote in a $700 billion military budget and not vote for a stimulus. So like this is where we're at. Like they're all
that's how it goes.
They're all monster sociopaths, and I can't say what I want to say on the thing,
you shouldn't say.
So I won't.
I know. But it's a disaster. It's a disaster, and we're gonna be living through it for a while. And it doesn't even feel like. And I don't know, just because it's been 2020
I'm
or
actively trying to get citizenship in Spain. Like I'm trying to see how can I stay here. Not that Spain is so great.
Marry a Spanish woman.
I know,
but
yeah,
it's weird that
it's really hard to date with COVID.
It's so strange because it's so like my loss this year has effect because it happened just before Christmas. And it's just like Christmas was just another day. Like New Year's Eve is just another day. To me, it's like to happen at the tail end of the year.
Your birthday is going to be
like
just another day.
Yeah, that's right. It's just everything sort of has become just another day because of how everything has compiled into whatever these last 4 years, because we've been inundated with political shit because everybody's been weaponized. You know what I mean?
And we have nothing else happening. We're all at home.
No, yeah, we have to be stuck.
All we can do is
hear
focus on this horrible shit.
I know, because then now that's where we get. That's why, because of this fucking plague, people are sitting at home, and that's why we would have never gotten.
I don't want to say who, but one of my family members now, their job is maybe gonna lay them off because of this, like out of nowhere. Like that's how they ended the year by telling them this. Like
Yeah.
it's insane.
I
Like
mean, it's so weird how the entertainment sphere now has changed because of the plague. Is because now, we're getting a 4-hour Justice League cut.
yeah,
So these people, I bet you these directors are fucking grateful that happened because they're rich, but they get to make their shitty movies. Like, I saw Wonder Woman 84. I thought it was
terrible,
okay,
right?
but it was all right. It was like
I've
a
only
shitty
heard
movie from
bad
the 80s.
reviews. I heard
No,
they
no,
didn't
listen,
even have
it
an
is.
80s soundtrack in it.
Listen, the movie was bad, but I still was like, okay. But the thing is, that's how life is. I'm so numb. I don't know what's good or bad, so I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But it was like a whatever movie. Like Wonder Woman, she's terrible in it. Like the first one, I liked. This one, she was just sort of like, who gives a fuck? And you can't pay me to watch Aquaman. I have no interest in that shit. But yeah, all the DC movies are pretty. I don't know. I heard that Birds of Prey was good, but it just not interesting to me.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, they changed everything. Like everything is going on demand. Like, which is interesting because I'm not gonna go into any fucking theater with these animals that go in there. These people that don't wear masks or whatever the fuck they do.
I don't feel comfortable.
So
at
now we
all.
get to see Dune because these people are fighting to go see. Oh, I want Dune to be in the theaters. Like, go ahead, have Dune in the fucking theaters. I'm not going to the theater to see that shit in theaters.
Yeah.
I saw Tenet, which I was good, but like my friend said, the one who hates Halloween was probably his Christopher Nolan's worst movie.
Okay.
And it was alright, but there was no emotionality to it. It's a weird science fiction movie, but I guess if you're not really into Christopher Nolan movies, you won't watch it or get into it.
I don't care about him really.
It's a weird set of films. I thought Dark Knight was pretty good, but anyway.
I think they're all over.
But now, everything is focused on home because you know what people are realizing that people do not care about each other. They just don't give a fuck, and they want to be selfish politically just to see somebody else fail. They don't give a fuck about caring about other people.
We can't let Trump win and have $2,000 for everybody. $600 is the better choice. What?
Yeah,
Like,
they just because they want to feel politically, morally superior about other people.
the amount of political ignorance in our country and brainwashing. Like, I'm in Spain. I'm seeing it from an outside perspective. We're on the news all the time. They're making fun of us. We're the laughingstock of the fucking world. Everybody is just watching in horror as they're all getting $2,000 a month or something, and we're having 9 months long debate over should we get 600 or 2,000 one time.
Yeah, because people
it's insane.
People here just are. America is a thing about me first, give me gimme, which I think is the name of a ska punk band also.
Right for name.
And it's just like you cannot escape the stupidity of others
They think
because
freedom
stupidity is majority.
like, I don't know, not having healthcare and like, but you could maybe be a millionaire, maybe. Like, you're not going to, most likely, but maybe, so you're free, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
I'd rather not have freedom and like not live in a third world country. How about that? Like,
It's outrageous how like this at least this year itself has shown like people have always been scumbags.
This is
There's
like
no fucking question about it.
The definition of capitalism, but it's exposing itself because now all the fucking facade has fallen away. You can see exactly what it is. And
I'm not against capitalism unless it works for me. money. It was so funny. I got it. One thing before we finish up, I got interviewed for something about a project that I'm working on, where I'm editing it right now and direct some stuff. And they thankfully, a lot of this didn't make it into the interview, but I'm going to quote what I said because this is essentially how I feel about this year. It's like, because they asked me about has everything gone political? And so I wrote, this is what I wrote, so I must have sounded like an insane person. Uh-huh. I said, there's no question about the connection. Everyone has been weaponized politically. It's obviously a deep-seated mistrust of the other that has finally reared its hideous face proudly. There's no escaping it because there's just an inherent ugliness inside of people that like to destroy everything. They kept that part. Yeah. This is what I wrote. I wrote, I am pessimistic and I do not generally see the good in people, but I do admire the sludge-like crawl of acceptance of humanity. Get along, but just my inherent just misery of how people have been treating other for the last 4 years. Yeah. Fuck that, man. Fuck all that bullshit.
It's forever. It's not just
ridiculous.
4 years.
It really is. It'll all.
This is just it's a magnifying glass on it, but it's always.
It's for the fact that we had to be stuck inside.
We used to tie rocks to women's legs and throw them in the water because they might be witches. Like,
Yeah.
Humans suck.
The smart have to pay for the dumb.
Everyone
and that's how
should be
is.
dogs. We should just have dogs.
And I'm pretty dumb,
They're
so
better.
there you go. That's true. Dogs are much better people than people are. Anyway, with that rousing, hilarious, is there anything positive you want to say for the year that you look forward to in
No, between everything you've gone through, between everything everybody has gone through, I just feel very sad for everyone in the world. Like, I know people that are homeless right now, living in tents. Like, it's insane.
So, is there anything you want to say a specific fuck you to? Because I say fuck the plague, fuck ALS, fuck everything that fucks people over, because people should just be able to live their life and,
and we should have
not
Medicare
feel
for
that
all.
they should be be sure that they don't have to be subjected to somebody else's stupidity. And so with that, Danny, on what my final word, obviously, of the year is fuck ALS.
Well, how would you rate 2020? What's your rating?
From 1 to 10 being 1 good and 10 awful, or is
10
it the opposite
10
way?
is a good year and 1 is a bad.
Yeah, right. So this would be a negative 8.70 billion infinite. Seeing this world eat itself, and having to watch people that you love die slowly through it.
Oh God.
What rating would you give
I
this
give
year?
it a negative 10 million to the 10th power. Watching every single thing Bernie Sanders warned us about come true times 100, and watching all of your loved ones suffer.
Absolutely. So with that, Danny, what's the final word?
Fuck you, 2020.
Horror Deconstruction.